first
I know. There's only like 2 people watching right now.
Everybody pops in a few minutes deep.
That's
So
right.
I've been starting it just talking about whatever. I think last time Chase and I were talking about how he's never was on a roller coaster
He's
ever.
never been on a roller coaster.
He's never been on a roller coaster before. He never did that.
A pretty random thing.
Yeah, and you know what? By the way, when the whole time I was at Disney, I think I talked to Chase about it. It's a tremendous amount of just absolute units there, just obese to the max. I
Oh,
only saw
yeah.
one person get sized out from a roller coaster. I only saw one. I was
Do you think they've had
expecting to see more of
to
that.
like re-brace a lot of those roller coasters for the increased weight over the last 50 years?
Oh, totally. Yeah. I mean, like even for me, I'm relatively like wide if you see me next to a normal human being. So like I would sit in some of the roller coasters and be like, I can't get my shoulders in this. I would have to do this to sit in some of the roller coasters. So there's got to
Mm.
be some big boys who are just
Oh, yeah.
300 or just there's no hope. They would have the same seat in the coaster out in front of the line, and you could sit in it to see if you could fit,
Mm.
which is a very American problem, which I love.
They should
It's
have a
just
scale basically and go, look, no one over 450
absolutely
pounds
sick.
or under
Yeah.
130.
But yeah, Chase has never been on a roller coaster, and part of me was like, I wonder if Chase could fit in some roller coasters. You know what I
Mm.
mean? Because there may be some where his lower body is too wide to sit in the seat.
His ass is too
Yes, his ass.
too
He's
smoky.
too much junk in the trunk to get through that process. Um,
Uh,
but yeah, okay. So we're coming on the 2 minute mark. This is going pretty well. Hi everybody. This is the weekly Strength Club podcast. I say weekly, but it ends up not being weekly. That's the fault of
Why
all
is
of
that?
us equally.
Why is that?
Well, it's a scheduling thing, man. Imagine having to schedule something for 1 hour a week. That's insane.
3 different time zones.
3 different time zones. That's crazy. We have
Mm.
somebody in Bubbledom, Australia. We have an East Coast, and then we have Tejas, or no, Oklahoma. Excuse me. That's too complicated.
Yeah.
But yeah. So this is the Weekly Strength Club podcast. We have a bunch of videos. Go and check them out. A lot of form check stuff, a lot of programming stuff, a lot of covering general starting strength content. This time we're going to be checking out the starting strength subreddit. I'm here with Mick. Is that your full name?
I think so. Yep, triple
It's
Mick.
Triple Mick. And then
Yep.
what do you do? Who are you, dog?
I developed the starting strength app, and that's about where my expertise ends.
And he lives in a big pile of gold that you give him
I
every time
do.
you buy the starting strength app. Every month when
There's
you
going to be an
rebuy it.
option. There's going to be an option to pay in gold and Bitcoin soon,
Yeah,
given
mail
the
him a
way things are
small
going.
nugget of gold.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I'm Alex Kosari. I do a bunch of coaching. I do online coaching. I do lifting camps for people who do sports that I do. I coach a lot of grapplers, martial artists, and rock climbers. That's kind of my wheelhouse. You can find my information links below, things like that. And then Chase is normally here with us too, at Chase Lindsay. He's the guy who's press 405. He's pretty cool. There's his Instagram. When's the last time you've been to his Instagram? Has he
I
posted anything recently?
don't know. Let's have a look.
Chase, check it out. This is I literally every stream I check and there's just nothing new. He posts every. Oh, here we
Well,
go.
I think there is new stuff. It just all looks the same because it's all just him squatting and
Exactly. Yeah, he's wearing the same exact diaper every single
yeah,
time.
exactly. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, so he did some power cleans and jerks at 140, front squats at 180. It's pretty sick.
What
Yeah,
about
man.
Chase _Lindley? What's going on with him?
I have not checked Chase _ Lindley in quite some time, actually. I think I
Really?
should. Yeah. So we'll pull up Chase's Instagram here and we'll see what's going on. But yes, this is our boy Chase Lindley. Hey, here we go. Let's try to answer Chase's question. What would you consider to be the most common determining factor of being stronger in your quads than your hips in a squat? That is a retarded question. That doesn't make any sense. Oh, he's a fitness influencer.
Oh no!
sick.
Oh no!
I'm
Can we
falling for
can
the
we
hype.
schedule an appointment with him?
That's
He's
awesome.
got his Calendly link there as well.
I like this. This is a good one. I don't know.
Before and before.
before. If you could pick up a barbell, watch this. I love this hair though. I totally wish I could have this.
That's it.
If I
That
could
is
have
like,
that peak going on. Yeah,
Yeah.
Mick, you should be absolutely confirmed jelly of this hair.
Uh,
Fuck. All right, let's get back to Chase squatting. I think that's the important thing here. He's squatting 180 pounds. Oh, here. Oh, Chase answered as well. That's so nice. Okay, so Level Up's fit question was why would someone be stronger in the quads than their hips? And then Chase said you're stronger in your hips than your quads because there's more muscle mass around the hips. Sick.
The answer is more muscle. Wow. Who would have
Absolutely
thought?
sick. And you're like, fuck, wait a second. Who thought of that? Oh, hey, we got
Yeah.
Teo Affleck coming in hoot. All right. Alex, since you coach a lot of people who need endurance, how would you program cardio and or a weekly soccer game with a 4-day upper lower program? You want to skew that so you flip it so that it goes lower upper. So you would go lower lower upper, and then if you can only fit an exercise on those days, you want to fit in cardio on the upper day to prepare. So it would be like your lower body work. The following day would be upper body and then cardio on the same day, right? Ideally, you could do it later in the evening. So let's say you would do lower on day 1, day 2 you would do upper, and then later in that evening you would run, vice versa, really wherever. Running does not have that big of an interference effect if you are pretty used to it. So don't worry too much about that. But yeah, I think a lot of people dramatically overstate the fatigue cost of cardio if you are choosing the modality correctly. This is a relevant question. Is Chase sick? I don't know.
Always. Have
He's
you
just
seen him?
busy.
Have you seen him?
He is, yeah, he is pretty sick.
He's got the worst case of alopecia I've ever
He's this
seen.
type of sick. He's a pale boy. When you see him in person, you're like, fuck.
How does he survive the Texas summers? I don't understand.
He just absorbs vitamin D. That's why he's so powerful.
Yeah,
He
maybe.
just sucks it all in.
Mm.
He's not a melanated brother, so he doesn't just reflect the vitamin D off of his skin. Speaking of Joka, by the way, we have his 205. We're doing the SS Reddit reviews, so we're checking out we're sorting this by hot, whatever that metric is, and then we're seeing what Joka's 205, how his 205 single went. He's in wraps, no safeties,
Just with the boys as well.
just with the boys, man.
Yeah, they're bros with the bros. Is this 205 kilograms or
Yeah,
pounds?
it's kilos. Yeah,
Okay.
it's kilos.
I was going to say.
Yeah, so you need to tighten up your walkout, Joka. John Carr, excuse me. So let's look at this. So you take one step back. At this point, you should be taking one more step. That's it. The second step, that's all you should need. And then you take your second step, pause. You take your third step, pause. Fourth step. You went to a 4-step walkout. It should be 2, especially when you're wearing wraps. You want to make your walkout as succinct as you possibly can. So fix the walkout. The squat itself is totally fine. Any thoughts on this squat, Mick?
Just good, looking good, son.
Son,
keep it
John
going.
Carr is actually 55.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I like the guy in the flip flops,
bro.
just spotting him from behind.
I think Chase and I talked about this. I don't know if you were there for that stream, but I personally, if I could be president, if I could executive order anything, I would say national emergency. Men can't wear sandals. That's
with
it.
socks.
No, just anything. Just men can't wear.
What do you consider to be
open-toed
sandals though?
If it's like a utility sandal and you're like working in a wet environment for some reason, I suppose that's acceptable. But if you're like walking around in leisure wear and you're wearing sandals, is it adult male?
I 100% support your policy, Alex.
It's crazy.
Gross.
It's crazy.
Gross.
It's the cargo shorts in
Yeah.
tier. I can't do it.
How do you feel about Crocs? We've probably talked about this before.
I'm actually more fine with Crocs because they have the utility strap in the back.
Yep.
I'm more okay with those.
You just don't want to see men's feet. Is that what you're kind of saying?
Well, A, yes, they are gross. But then I would say B also. Chase and I were saying like, well, we have all of these male hero fantasies. Like, what if I have to stop the terrorist? What if someone grabs my wife's purse? What if someone you need to go run and do a thing, and then you have flip flops on and you die because you can't run because you have flip flops on? I completely.
Is that a common occurrence for you guys?
I would say that there have been hundreds of thousands of people who have died from improper footwear.
Yeah. More than died from COVID.
Yeah, so yeah, I mean, absolutely. So you know when like the Gates Foundation will say like there's the most people who have died from anything in the world ever has been malaria, for example. I'm sure that in the history of ancient warfare, all of these things throughout human time, there were so many dudes who were like running from something and their little flip flop broke and they're like shit, and then they just die.
Yeah.
Flip flops can't do them.
No, I agree with you. I don't wear them.
This is Goku 809 here, by the way. He's squatting a little bit over 160 pounds. He took a 4-year break from lifting. Stance is too narrow to start. and he's focused on overextending his back. Yeah, so boys and girls, if you can see this, if you're looking at the back of the lifter's shirt and it looks like it's changing shape and there's a lot of wrinkles that are waving up and down, that person is really focused on extending their back. They don't need to do this. What we want is for the spine to be rigid and for the motion to happen at the hip joint. If the motion is happening at the spine the whole time, they're thinking about keeping their chest up too much. So I would cue the good Goku here to brace his abs, squeeze his abs down, and then lean over more, widen the stance, and he should be totally fine. Couple inches short of depth. Yeah, he'll get there when he widens the stance. Not too much else. Oh, Mick, did you see the 4th of July, by the way? Did you watch Louis' movie yet?
Yes, I did.
What were your thoughts on it?
Oh, I loved it. Yeah, it was perfection.
Perfection. Ooh, okay.
Well, I don't know perfection, but like it was good. It was what I expected it to be. Yeah. So
do you feel like did it resonate deeply with what your family life was like?
I mean, parts of it did, but
okay.
you know, our family wasn't really that communicative.
Yeah.
As that. Man, I just can't get my glasses. They're like broken or something. I just,
It's just your deep-seated instincts to be a nerd is what's happening.
My giant fucking nose.
Yeah.
All right.
It's just a phenotypical expression of being a shitty nerd. But yeah, so I thought I absolutely loved 4th of July. It was like it was seeing. You didn't see it in the theaters. I saw it in the theaters.
No.
Seeing it with like a group of people and able to see everybody's reactions to it the whole time. That was really nice.
Yep. Hey, Louis coming out to Australia, by the way.
I know. I heard you got tickets. That's really exciting.
I got tickets.
Yeah, I saw he's coming to DC like next January, and there was like a whole you have to email. You had to I had to make an account to get a code to wait in a queue. In the queue, then you could get tickets, and I was like, this is too much fucking trouble.
Well, if you're on his newsletter, you get the code. So
no, it was like a Ticketmaster thing. It just pushed me.
Right.
And I was
if you use the promo code Strength Club, you get 20% off on all your Louis CK tickets.
Oh, that'd be amazing.
Yeah,
I love that game.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, but 4th of July was that was a really good movie. Really good movie. So these power cleans by our boy R.T. Middled. Interesting. 8 days ago. Yeah, this is just arm pull. This is arm pull, and he's not really deadlifting. This is kind of just pulling the bar with the arms.
Yep.
He gets to there, pulls it up. Yeah, so generally, if you're in one of these situations, if someone is using the arm pull to accelerate the bar, it's a little bit different than if it's just bending early and staying there the whole time. If someone has a slight bend to their arm and it doesn't move the whole time, that's more or less okay. If someone is rowing the bar up to move the bar, then that's a problem with arm pull. So generally cueing the lifter, like squeeze their triceps, get their arm nice and straight, or you can cue them to push down on the bar with their arms, make your arms really long, and then move the bar with your legs. I think he would be able to fix this pretty quickly.
You think he's huffing that PVA glue in between sets just to get a bit of a...
Wood glue smells... I don't like the smell of wood glue personally.
Which glue is your preference to huff?
If I had to prefer glue, there's actually I've done a lot of cosplay stuff with my wife, and there's a lot of like epoxies that you used for EVA foam. There's a lot of like EVA foam.
I don't know what you're talking about. All these words don't make any sense to me at all. Like you can be talking about anything right now.
Oh no, but there's a lot of cosplay specific like foam armor that you'll make that actually smells really good. You have to if you use it inside, you'll totally get lightheaded though. So you got to do it. Take it outside.
I'm loving this bro press, by the way.
This is a good press, man. This is totally fine.
You fine with this press?
So it's not a hips press. It's just a different thing, you know. It's like when we see a sumo deadlift, and then it can be a good sumo deadlift, but I
feel like he's pretty. Like he's not really. Look where he ends, though. You okay with that?
So it's over his shoulder. He's keeping his head back, and he's doing a small push press. So like if you watch his knees every time, we'll fast forward a little bit so you can see it. But he's going to kick with his knees. This is just a very tiny push press. That's all this is. Okay. So it's like, hey, it's fun. The third rep, he would have had it if he laid back a little bit more, but I don't think he really understands what layback is. The things that I look for when I'm judging a push press are the heels coming off the ground. So if someone is really kind of like getting too far on their toes, the heels are lifting and they're not coming down to the ground immediately, that's generally pretty troublesome. And then if they're doing a little bit of a dip to catch the bar, if you are push pressing into a dip, that's just a jerk. If you're doing a shitty jerk, it's probably not going to help you from a skill perspective.
Is he calling this a what? How did he describe this press?
Oh, that's a good question.
Yeah,
Let's check this
form
out.
check.
This is a push press. We don't push press here. Please explain to me the term push press. Push press, push press. That little jump you're doing when you get the bar. Man. Okay, so I don't think this guy realizes that he's doing a push press.
Yeah, that's what I would have thought. I think he's doing a regular press.
He's just attempting to do a strike press. In terms of an actual push press, though, generally, it's pretty rare to have someone who's like quads or super flexible to get a really like deep push press. But you're going to end up a little bit higher than a quarter squat position, and you want the bar resting on your chest. If the bar is floating in your hands, like the bar is up here, and you do the push press, you're just going to lose that sag here in the arms. It's not going to transfer. When you're doing a push press, you want it connected to your body so that when you stand up, you'll ride that wave up.
Let's maybe do some of the user form checks, hey?
Oh yeah, good idea.
Yeah.
Man, fuck off, Reddit. We had a good bit to go through this time. We got some dude squatting outside, which is interesting.
I like these squat outside.
Oh, the second I have property, dude, I'm going to make a compound. Nobody's paying taxes. We're all weightlifting outside. It's going to be pretty great. Oh, this guy totally has a compound. He's in the woods.
Yeah.
He's making little blonde children.
Yeah, he's making little children of the corn, little strong children of the corn.
Yeah, he's making his youth brigade. That's pretty sick.
Yeah.
This is a nice rack too. It has the pulleys built in. Those are kind of hard to find.
It's good to see his kids really getting into it too.
They are, yeah. So we're going to pause this as his bottom. So his bottom position is actually pretty okay. If you can see this, guys, this is where his hip crease is. This is where his knee is. He's like at depth right now. I wouldn't be a little bit lower. But in reality, your boy here, what's his name? Corver, he needs to widen his stance slightly. I would say about an inch on each side. Aim his nose down. So if we go back to the beginning, we can see right here, he just looks straight ahead the whole time, right? So if we have him looking down, keeping his nose tilted down, like your glasses are going to fall off, he'll be in a much better position. So stance needs to be wider, look down, his butt will go back. But otherwise, these look like super easy squats. These aren't particularly hard at all. What did Cool Dude say? Cool Dude said, I find a push press to be harder than the starting strength press. What advice do you have for not going on your toes? Yeah, so the push press for people who have not done the Olympic lifts, they'll think it's kind of like a toe heavy movement, almost like you're jumping a little bit. In reality, it's really like the jerk. It's like a front squat that you were just ramming into the ceiling. You're getting deep, you're driving through the middle of your foot. As you extend, you will come onto your toes, but that will be more because your whole body is floating up rather than pushing through your toes. Pushing through your toes is still a little bit different. Talon, how bad are your squats, dog? And why do you not have little blonde children running around? Oh man! All right, we got an MJ here.
MJDC.
Yeah, MJDC the boy. But yeah, cool dude.
There we go. What is going on here?
That's it, dog. That's all you need.
This is the wrong video. This is the video of him.
Man,
what he gets up there.
Here we go. All right, so let's pause real quick. Let's do some math. We got 365, 385, 395. He's pulling 400, not 405.
Oh boy.
Oh, it's Ernest. It's our boy. This is one of my guys, Ernest. How's it going, Ernest? Yeah, I should pull up some of his squats. Ernest,
are they terrible?
So he saw a few let me get on my soapbox here a little bit. But he saw a few other starting strength coaches, and he's just a stubborn guy with a squat. And they were like, listen, just do this. It's fine. It's not the end of the world. I'm not, of course, trying to straw man these people, but his squat was like fucked up to the high heavens. So we're working on it now. It's getting there. It's getting there. Now it looks like a normal squat. Before it was this very weird, super on the heels, toes barely on the ground, really wide. Like the hips would be so far back that the knees would shoot forward, dramatic knee slide in the last 2 inches. It was very frustrating. Very, very frustrating. I know you get very passionate about these things, Mick. So
Oh, can you see it?
yeah, I can see it on your face.
I'm pretty passionate about MJDC's deadlift right now. It's a good setup position.
Yeah, this is how do you? This is a good setup position.
It's looking good. It's looking great so far.
Good. He's on the heels though. On the heels early.
He looks like he's. We've seen a lot of videos from MJDC. He looks like he's really toning up quite a lot. Don't you reckon?
No. Okay.
He's looking good. What are you talking about? He's looking good. I reckon he had like a lot more of a belly, like 6 months.
Yeah,
or 4
yeah,
months
yeah.
ago.
We can see it. We can see it pretty good.
Yeah.
During some of his like walking. Yeah. I think he's an interesting guy. So if I was MJ, I would just cut hard and then do only arm work, only biceps and triceps for 6 months.
You're about to get an email now revoking your starting strength coach credential.
You're gonna be like, listen, I just need to pump the bis and tries.
Yeah.
No, but the deadlift here, the only technical issue we have is that he's just going to get on his heels a little bit early, and then when that happens, the shin incline. Let's pause real quick right here.
Oh, yeah, I saw that now you mentioned it, yeah.
Yeah. So whenever, if you're setting up a little bit too far away from the bar, what's going to happen is that as your knees extend, they're not going to move the bar. They're just going to put your hips into the correct position. Now your hips are in the correct position. The shin is more vertical, but the bar hasn't moved back yet. So what it's going to look like, it's going to look like his knees and his butt shift backwards, and then he's just going to pull onto his heels. Let's play this. You can really see it about right here. It almost looks like he's falling backwards, right? So he doesn't have very much pressure on his toes. I would tell him to pull his toe angle a little bit. So instead of being out here, be like right here, rock forward. Actually, what's pretty funny. Talon Ernest here, he used to do a similar thing on his deadlifts. Your deadlifts used to look like this, Ernest. But we need you more on the midfoot, keeping your shoulders, your collarbones, past the bar. Let's continue this rep. But I think if he gets the setup position correctly, he'll easy 415, 420 in him. Yeah. All right. What is this? Let's see what this says. Is a wrist curl in the OHP valid?
What?
Leaving the bar up in the hand and making a wrist movement during the press. What do you think this means, Mick?
I have no idea. I don't even know how this is possible unless.
What did he mean by this? Okay, so do you mean doing? Wait, how does this work? Do you mean Joka doing this, like keeping your hand here extended, or do you mean starting here and then doing this to finish?
That's what I think he. That's what I think he means, like doing this to finish it. How is that even possible?
I mean, like it's possible because like you're pressing like this to keep it. So here's the shoulder. So if he wants to keep the bar over the shoulder, he'll bend his wrist back, and then as he presses, he'll straighten his wrist out. Yeah, John Carr. It's not super recommended. You are allowed to do it. No one will stop you. But generally, what you want is the wrist to be in like 10 degrees. So it's going to look like from the side, basically about this. Man, I cannot figure out cameras. It's going to look like about doing that to finish. Yeah, so if you're overhead and it's like this, the bar is behind your shoulder at this point. So you doing this would bring it over the shoulder. That's productive, but you can just keep it here the whole time. Just get wrist wraps. So the wrist wrap should sit here. The wrist wrap should not be down here. A lot of people put wrist wraps here. You want the wrist wrap on here. It anchors this. That way you can just keep that the whole time.
But if the wrist strap's up here, though, isn't it also going to be over your palm as well, where the bar sits?
It can tilt. It can tilt.
You can tilt it down.
Yeah, it's not a. It is. There should be pretty liquid because you're wrapping them very tightly. So like when I'm wrapping my wrist, I'm holding it in bar position. I'm holding it like this, basically, as tight as I can.
We should actually demonstrate this on a stream at some point.
Yeah,
how to wrap.
Why a straight hand though? No, it doesn't. What does that mean? Okay, so the press is not a lift for your forearm flexors. That's not what that is. Because otherwise, like at the top of a squat, you would be calf raising, for example. You could theoretically add more muscle mass into lifts by doing things like this, but that's not really the point. The point of the straight hand is that you're not creating an excessive moment arm between the elbow and then the wrist here, and where the bar is sitting. right? So it's like in order for force to be transferred most conveniently, we want this to be a straight, rigid line. If this is like this, some of the gas that you're giving, it's not getting there appropriately. Um, Read the book; it's pretty well explained in the pressing chapter.
I mean, plus as well, like, I mean, once you got a decent amount of weight in the bar, that's just going to be nearly impossible.
I mean, plenty of people bench a shit ton of weight with very extended wrists, but they're doing it for different reasons. In the overhead press, the mechanics are different. You know, it's not the same in the overhead press.
Okay, what's going on here?
Okay, so this is interesting. We asked this guy about his mask last time. It was pretty
What did he
sick.
say?
So Chase and I originally thought this was like a tattoo on the back of his head. We thought it was like a circle
I thought it
tattoo.
was like a skin-colored yarmulke.
Oh, that's another. Ooh, man, this is why we need a diverse
Yeah,
background.
that's right. Yeah.
This is what the diversity people meant. See, Mick thought it was a
That's right.
yarmulke. I thought it was a tattoo.
What is actually going on though?
He's doing some. It seems like he's doing high pulls. It's
No,
70
what's going on with
kilos.
the mask?
Oh, okay, so he's just wearing a mask in public. I'm guessing he has some sort of condition, which is by wrist. I use the wrist wraps.
Okay.
John Carr. Oh yeah, here we go. Melanie also thought it was a yarmulke. Oh, Melanie, how's it going? I haven't seen a video from you in a minute. Yeah, send some videos in, Melanie.
Yeah.
We got to see you. You should be deadlifting like 315 by now. Easy peasy. Oh, Mick, I forgot to tell you. Over Labor Day in America, I was a groomsman in a wedding, and I got to wear a yarmulke. It was a Jewish wedding.
Nice. Yeah, I mean,
Yep.
you kind of do look like you could be Israeli. You look like you could be a lot of things, man. Like
Yeah.
you really fit into a lot of groups.
I know it's that vague. Yeah, at the new judo gym that I'm at, people have thought I've been Iranian. Like there were two guys who were like, "Oh, are you?" They were really excited. It's like they were speaking to me in Farsi. They were like, "Oh, we thought you were Iranian." They were very disappointed I was not. There was another guy there who's from Azerbaijan. He thought I was from Azerbaijan.
Do you get profiles when you're going through airport security a lot?
Every time, but it's also because I take a lot of food with me always. So like if I'm going through the airport, I have like
full of pills,
like 4 or 5 sandwiches, and then just a big bag of pills with me. So it's always right. Okay, so here's Dan. How's it going, Dan? I'm curious about the mask.
Yeah, please. What's going on with the mask?
I am also severely immunocompromised, but I've managed to make it without the mask. I'm curious about yours.
The mask
thanks,
might
Melanie.
fix everything for you.
I appreciate that a lot. That's super nice. Hopefully your lifting's been going well. But we got to watch these. We got to watch these high pulls. The high pull is a really underused lift. I'm a huge fan of the high pull in most circumstances.
He's nearly knocking his mask off with it with a bar.
Oh, he cleans on that one. High pull, clean, triple. Last rep. A lot of suspense. Okay, yeah. So Dan, the man here. What I would recommend is just the first thing you got to do is widen the grip out. The grip being the deadlift grip is not doing you any favors. Okay. Ooh, footy for kicks. So in America, kicks is a cereal. I just had some kicks for lunch today. So it sounds like you're playing soccer for cereal. But how are you doing?
No, it's Aussie Rules he's playing there in that picture.
Oh, is this
Australian
how can you
football.
tell? What is
I
it?
can see it. I mean, I could just see the action of the kick.
It's different than the kick itself is different than normal footy than soccer.
I'll bring it up again and I'll tell you what I see.
All right, here we go. What can you see in this?
I mean, I could just see it's Australian football. I mean, it's just the way he's kicking it. I mean, there's not many sports where they run and kick a ball.
He said, "Yeah, AFL."
Yeah.
Yeah. Amazing.
Mm.
All right, so back to these high pulls. Props on you for doing high pulls. I really like them. Big fan. I program them a good bit. A lot of times we practice the high pull in order to kind of get the elbows out of the way. So kind of you want to practice everything up until the turn. So when your elbows turn over in the clean. So if I'm getting to here on the high pull, let's say the bar is getting to like my bottom rib on the clean, that's when I start to turn my elbow over. That's kind of where you want to take your high pulls to. If you're high pulling all the way up here, might as well just do a normal clean at that point. I normally like doing high pulls in excess of what you can clean so that you can practice pulling as hard as you can. If you can do a high pull and then a clean immediately afterwards, you're just kind of practicing a bad clean. In terms of your clean itself, move your grip out so you're not getting so bunched up with the arms. You don't want to end up in like this position when you're cleaning, when I'm like here, basically. You want the grip a little bit wider. The elbows have more space to get out. You'll have more space as you turn your arms over. So move your hands out about maybe just a palm's width. I think that's totally fine. Let's watch this one more time. I would probably bring your heels in just a tad. Yeah, and I would jump more. It seems like, Dan, like you're not throwing this as high as you can, you know. The goal for the clean, you know, if the goal is just to catch it, a lot of times that can be a little problematic because you are under pulling. You want to think about throwing it all the way up to your head and just catching it wherever it lands, you know. It seems like on this one you're just being a little bit too reserved. I would let yourself stay in the jump for longer. And then Footy for Kicks, he's going to submit a power clean form check soon.
Ooh.
That's nice, man. I'm excited about that. We got one from Abanov. Oh no, we saw Abanov's last time. Let's see. This one. This is from Batman. Absolutely, Dan. Keep sending in some Olympic lifts. Those are always good. I have high hopes for this. Ah,
Oh.
damn. Sometimes it tricks us like that.
As soon as I saw like the whatever that cable extension thing is on his rack, I knew this was one of you.
Oh, you saw it. So I saw. I was like, oh, he's really focusing on the grip. He's looked at some resources. If you just pause it here, you're like, listen, he's probably in a pretty good spot. And then we'll see what happens.
He's got 2 wins as well.
Bam.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's rough, dog.
Mm.
Yeah, I would say that's the long and short of it. Wider hands, narrow heels, push through the jump. Really pretend it's, pretend you're trying to get it above your head, Just don't worry about the catch. The catch will happen on its own. But we'll continue watching Batman's squat here. He's driving his hips out of the bottom. That's a good note. And this seems to be 275. I think he may have sent in another video. I'll see if that's a squat here in just a second. We'll check on that one. Oh no, it's his power clean, or is it deadlift? I think this is a home gym, by the way, Mick, and it is the sickest home gym I've ever seen in my life. I'll show you.
All right.
I'll show you the other video in a second, but we're going to go back to this squat. So what we're looking at here, boys and girls, is someone who's just unfamiliar with what the bottom position should be. So when we teach the squat, we teach it from the bottom up with body weight so that person can calibrate where depth needs to be. This is someone who's just not been exposed to that. The telltale signs are they're not letting their knees close. They can have the correct stance. They can lean over. They can do all those things that we tell them to do. But their knees don't close enough for them to sit down to depth. That's a pretty telltale sign. Second telltale sign is that the depth is different every time. So if someone looks like they're doing a separate squat every single rep, that generally means that they don't know where they should be ending up. You want to give them a frame of reference for the top and a frame of reference for the bottom. He doesn't have that. I would recommend go down to 135. You'll be able to LP back up through this probably 20 pounds at a time pretty quickly. But you need to start in that body weight squat position, So go to the Starting Strength YouTube channel, look up how to squat. You'll see on there that body weight progression, hands together, squat down, elbows inside of your knees. And then that will get you in the correct bottom position. Once you identify the correct bottom position, you'll know where it is and you can squat to there. But basically you need to reset the whole thing because this is super high every time. Man. All right, so we'll pull up Batman's second video here. I'm excited for you to see this home gym, Mick.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, right?
It's just how I imagine Batman's gym would be.
He has like an ancient...
What's that?
It's like a wooden rowing machine.
Oh.
It's like a wooden framed rowing machine.
Righto.
He made his own plate carrier.
He's actually painted little logos on the walls as well.
Yeah, no, I think this may be like the Firehouse gym, if I had to bet. He's wearing fire rescue shirts. There's another fire rescue shirt in there.
Uh,
Um, yeah, I think this is. I think all the grips on the wall. This is a sick gym. I love
mm.
this. This is great. He has a mustache too, which is confirmed for firefighter.
Why is there a bar sitting on a crate in front of it? What's he doing
It's
in
for
between?
curls. That's a curling bar, dog.
Oh, well,
It's the
you're
most
all
important
over
bar.
this, yeah.
It's the most important bar that you could have. How many times a week are you hitting biceps, Mick?
None.
None?
Oh, actually,
What
no,
the
that's not
hell?
true. I did curls about a week ago.
Hell yeah, man. You're
Mm,
doing once every 3 weeks?
pretty
Once
much.
to 3
Yeah.
weeks? You
Yeah.
gotta I've decided that my arms are too small and everyone else's are. So you just unilaterally across all of my clients, I'm like, listen, we're gonna kick the biceps up maybe 3 times. Everyone's like,
Yeah,
all right, fuck it.
right.
All
No
right.
one's ever going to complain about that. That's the one exercise everyone's like, "Yep, I'm down for that."
I'm like, everybody, you're too small. Everybody. All right, let's watch these cleans. Watch these cleans for real now. I'm gonna suspect we need to widen the grip up just a tad. Yeah, so he needs to learn the top position. So with the way that we organize the clean, we start with the top and then we work our way down. So with the clean, we want to teach them where their elbows go so that they can be up here comfortably, confidently the whole time. When people catch it in this pressing position, so if we look at where he caught this right here, when people catch the bar like this, they've never been taught the front rack position, right? So we need to get him from going to here to relaxing to getting all the way up here. That just has to be taught. So Batman, I would recommend going to the squat rack, putting the bar kind of like a little bit higher, about collarbone height, not mid sternum where you have it for your squat, getting into a front squat position and pushing your elbows up as high as you can. You need to learn where the top position is. That way you can go into it. It needs to rest kind of on your front delts. You have to open your hands up, loosen those guys up. But the clean itself isn't. It's not the craziest thing. It's not the worst thing in the world. We'll watch this rep. Yeah, a little bit of arm pull, but I don't think it's super deleterious right now. Yeah, similar idea to Dan. I want you to think about jumping with your legs, pulling the bar up with your back, long, straight arms. You don't need to accelerate it by bending them. Think loose arms, loose arms. And I think you are also, yeah, he is. So you can see it. I can see it on my monitor. You guys may not be able to. Right, boop, right there. He is doing double overhand. So double overhand, so thumb outside of the knuckles, like you're punching. We needed him to be doing hook grip, where your thumb is sitting inside of the middle finger. So when you're doing a double overhand grip, most people will do an arm pull just from the grip itself. So Batman switch to a hook grip. That will probably help out the arm pull a good bit. And we got a question from Footy for Kicks. Thoughts on using the back extension in the NLP? Rip seems to be turning against it. What do you think, Mick?
I have no idea. Well, I mean, the
remember?
NLP is back extension in the NLP. I don't even think it is it?
I
It's
don't know. So I think I may need to buy the latest edition of the book. But in the editions that I was familiarized with and I've seen across the years, I think it may still be in there. Do you know if it's still in there, Mick?
I don't think it's in any of the NLPs. It might be once you hit advanced novice, but yeah, we need to double check that.
Yeah. I'll have to double check that. I still use them personally for myself and for my lifters because I like them.
But I mean, what stage are those lifters at though? Are they, because the NLP is the beginner's program, right?
Yeah, so the NLP is the beginner's program. At some point in the NLP, they say you can stop deadlifting every single time. So then you can put a power clean in there, and then if you're not power cleaning, you can put in chin ups or back extensions. They basically just want you to have that slot for back work. And then I forget if it's advanced novice or what exactly
What they replace with rows?
no, they never said rows. They never
Mhm.
said rows. That's a
Okay.
huge point of contention. They never did that. But they always said back extensions, chin ups, or power cleans. Um, and if I remember correctly, they still had back extensions in the last edition that I saw. I think it's very possible they could have taken it out. Um, yeah, it's certainly it's towards the end of the LP. Whenever you can't deadlift, every single time. That's out of the cards. I will have people do it in supersets with chin ups. So like, let's say you're not deadlifting every time. Let's say if you're deadlifting, Monday or Friday, on Wednesday, I'll have them do a superset. I'll have them do chin ups, rest a minute or two, go do some back extensions, chin ups, back extensions, repeat that. And just kind of depends on where the person is. Like if someone is stalling on their LP, but they're only deadlifting like 265, they don't need more back extensions. Um, it's in, yeah. See what print date you have, Ernest, on your copy, if you have it, or if you have the Kindle version. I'm assuming that's the most updated, right? Do you get updates for books if you have the electronic copy, Mick? Do you know?
I haven't checked.
Okay.
No.
But yeah, let me know about that. Let me know about that, Talon. It's the newest. Okay, so if it's still in there, man, it's still in there. Hey, what are you gonna do? Um, yeah, that confirms my biases. I feel vindicated, so that's pretty sick. But yeah, so I like back extensions a lot, particularly if some guy's doing a lot of heavy work. If you're going to have some guys who are going to run their LP up to like 455, and they only need to deadlift once a week because it's heavy enough to tide them over. But you want them to have kind of more reps in the area. I do back extensions. I'm a big fan of them. I'm never anti back extension for any reason. I think we have one from Johnny G here, by the way, so we're going to check Johnny G's out. But I think people are against them because it's a lot of movement around the lower back. They think it's kind of like a sit up, and that can be irritating. I don't necessarily agree with that.
Johnny G.
He has the leanest calves in the game, man.
I know.
It's crazy
Yeah.
how little fat this man has on his lower body, but still has a little pot belly. It's insane.
It might just be ripped abs for all you know.
It's not. Trust me.
Or a tumor.
Yeah. Is he going to go again, or is he going to re-rack it?
So.
Yeah, so just like look, you can just see clear hamstring separation coming out of the bottom here.
Are you jealous?
I'm 100% jealous, man.
He dive bombed that last one, didn't he?
He did. I have little fat boy legs, so I'll never be able to get shredded hamstrings like him. Yeah.
I'm the opposite. I've got little stick legs.
They're just lean all the time.
Yeah. They get chunky, like the thighs get chunky when the squat weight goes up, but like the calves are just.
How many times a week are you doing calf raises?
Well, how do I calf raise here?
Find a stair. You presumably have a stair or a step stool, or you can put some bumper plates down.
I've done it before. Like, here's the thing: I've done it before in the past, and nothing happened.
Yeah, you probably just didn't do them right.
Anyway, let's get back to Johnny G.
Johnny G.
We'll have a half an hour conversation about calf raising.
Man, I could go on for an hour.
Oh, I know, I know you could. That's why I'm stopping it before we even start.
But all right, so what did we see that was wrong here? So let's compare the depth to his first squat here when he's confident. We got to go back even farther. Hold on, folks. I'm just not good at timing Johnny's videos. That's what we're learning here. This is like the longest break in the world. Okay, so he's squatting here. He's finding a good bounce. Hamstrings are stretched and everything. We can see that. Hip is below his knees. This is a totally fine working depth for him. And then we're going to compare this to where he squats when he ends up squatting high. Right there. Okay. So he ends up squatting high, and then because of that, he has a really hard time fighting out of it. And then we'll see that he's picking up his hips. He's going to get stuck here. He's going to shift back on his heels. Whoop, that's the shift back on the heels. And that's when he picks his chest up. So what he should have done is just kind of stayed in his hips, keep driving it up. But yeah, this is the same thing that happened. Johnny G would tell us, he would be like, I keep getting bruised hamstrings from the deadlift. And he would do like these 8-second reps. He would do like a set of 5. All of them would take like 8 seconds and be the shakiest, like craziest grinds of the whole world. I think it's just too much weight on the bar for you, man. Too much weight on the bar. Let's check out Tom. I don't know if Oh, Tom has some awesome socks on. We'll check out Tom's lifts. And yeah, so footy. So back extensions, don't take them to failure ever. People can realistically do, like, if you're in decent shape, you can do like 80 of them. It's not, the back extensions are not a challenge for like weight or reps or time. Think about it just getting some light therapeutic movement in. These are going to be interesting to go over. I'm glad Tom sent this video in. We'll have to reach out to him. But yeah, so like footy, I would definitely mix them into chin ups, mix them into the bench press even. Maybe the overhead press more than the bench press. Bench pressing with the back pump is kind of hard, but keep it like 3 or 4 reps in reserve always.
I guess the good thing about squatting with a safety bar is you can check your watch for notifications.
That's true. You'd be like,
Well, yeah, all right.
did
Ooh.
any of my various mistresses text me? I don't know. Okay, so it's a good position to see this. Can you see the width of his? Hold on. Can you see the width of his heels, Mick? Is that visible for you guys?
Yeah, just barely.
Yeah. So he's very narrow. He probably has maybe about 6 inches between the heels. Now, the stock standard recommendation would be to widen the stance up so he could get to a better depth. But a lot of times with older people, you'll find that they just can't move their hips out that much. It's just not a thing. Even if you widened his stance out, his knees would fall in. He can't get into that degree of external rotation. So this stance may be what he's working with. You don't know until you see that in person. He's leaning over to start the squat, but he's getting to a different position every time. He's squatting slightly higher every single time. So I would honestly just take these to a box squat if I was him. Start with the box squat. You want to end up putting the box. We'll wait till he actually ends up squatting. We'll see where he goes. Yeah, so he's going to want to end up putting the box about right here, guys. I would say maybe this line where the top of his sock is. Put the box there. Go ahead, Mick.
Would you start him off without the bar just to see where he actually could end up?
You do that every session, no matter what. If you have someone in person, you always start without the bar. Even if I would say maybe after the 3rd or 4th time I've worked with someone in person, then I'll say we can just start, 45, 135, whatever, depending on how strong they are. But you'll start without the bar with a new person to just gauge these things just in general. But for him, I think it's certainly too much weight as of right now. And then he kind of has the mental model for it wrong. I don't think there's anything prohibiting his knees from closing more, right? There's nothing that's going to prevent his leg from getting closed. I think he just doesn't have the trust and confidence to get all the way down to depth. So I would move to a box squat, a low box squat, sit down every time, and then drive your hips up to stand up. There's a really good video on the Starting Strength YouTube channel. It is, I think it's Squat Training the Elderly with Bo Bryant. And it goes over. They have an old guy. He's like 70 or something. He starts, has never squatted before, squats like 55 pounds by the end of it. It's a good place to be. But essentially, you want to start on a very low box and work your way up from the bottom. That's what I recommend to Tom here. I don't think he's actually that. I think his side profile makes him look older than he is. How old do you think this guy is, Mick?
Oh, I'd say he's in his 70s.
You think 70s?
Yeah.
Okay, hold on. Are you sure?
I would say late 60s, early 70s.
Okay, I know some 40-year-olds who just have fucked up lives who look like this.
I'm 45. Come on, man.
I know. You're doing great. You've had a posh life.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, I think this just looks like the average guy from London. This is a 35-year-old from England.
That's true. Yeah.
This is
he started working in the coal mines when he was 8.
Yeah, he's been cleaning chimneys in the UK since he's been 7 years old. So Tom, let us know how old you are. I'm very curious about that. Start with the low box squat, and then work your way up from there. Here we go. Let's see what's going on. Footy says, talking of curls, what are your views on the SS methodology for bodybuilding? Andy Baker was talking about Dante Trudell and his dog crap method on his podcast. It has very intensity-based focus. Andy Baker's a really good resource. Dog crap, it's interesting. For those of you who don't know, it's rather high intensity in terms of the spectrum of bodybuilding. You'll have to see as with you as an individual, and if you're coaching the people who you're coaching, whether or not they respond well to that intensity. If they do, carry on. You found something that works. But there are some people who just will not respond to that, and then they'll just get beat to shit. You'll have people who are fatigued and injured constantly, and they just can't make the progress. With bodybuilding, a lot of it is it's getting as much work done as you can with as little fatigue. And then what you're looking for is to sustain body weight growth and some metrics of progression. So, like for Mick's calf raises, for example, if Mick adds reps in weight and volume tolerance to his calf raises while keeping it very strict on form over, let's say, 20 weeks, and he gains 10 pounds in that 20 weeks,
In my calves.
just in the whole body. It would be pretty sick for just your calves.
I know. That'd be awesome.
But we know for sure, 100% confidence intervals, that he has gained some muscle, presumably some in his calves, right? So it's not as simple as strength, because if strength, your just metric is just weight on the bar, average performances, they go up. But you are now reconciling that with body weight gain. And then how that gain looks, how that gain feels, if it's all fat, if it's not, like the programming concepts aren't very different. They're really not. Progress in weight, progress in reps. That's it. Add more volume. Oh, nice. How's it going, dude? You have fucking love your hair, dude. This is the guy from Instagram. I asked that question. It might have sounded stupid, but I promise I want that surface level. I didn't just word the question was about. Yeah, absolutely no worries. I'd recommend reading Starting Strength and Practical Programming. We lay out our criteria for exercise selection and then how we interpret the movements from that criteria super well. It's in the book, and I think we have a few articles on it as well. If you just look up like Starting Strength for criteria, you'll find it. And then it's the short version is going to be longest range of motion, most muscle mass, most weight on the bar, and then has a training response, like it can be trained. And then you'll kind of get into that'll let you know what questions to ask after that.
And maybe he can write a book called Starting Hair, because that hair is
Yeah. I just had a guy ask me about
your hair.
No, what?
Was it in the showers?
I wish someone asked me about my hair. No, but one of my clients he was like, "Hey, I'm losing my hair. Do you know anything about hair loss?" And I was like, "Sadly, no. I don't know. I don't know anything." This is from Reward. We'll see how this squat goes. I think this is 225.
That's a fast 220. No, it's not 225.
No, it's 155, I think.
Yeah, I think you're right. Look up to God, bro.
I think he's watching TV.
It does look like. I mean, fair enough too with what's on there.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Man, a woman playing tennis. Oh, mercy me. I'm getting boned up just thinking about it. Yeah, John Carr, we did a little bit in the beginning.
Yep.
Yeah. We may get back to it. I'm not sure how this is going to go. But we'll see about this squat. So to start, this is only 155, so moving quickly, that kind of comports with what this guy looks like. Now, the starting strength model for our squat, we want the nose and the face pointed down about 3 feet in front of you. He is cranking his head up the whole time, so his nose is almost pointed up. He's trying to point it up at the wall in front of him. We definitely do not want that. It has a few implications. The first implication is back extension. You'll notice the lifter is almost always too focused on extending their back. That has a separate array of problems. And then second to that, they have a hard time leaning over. So we want the back to be nice and neutral. We want the head to be aimed down so the hips can sit down. I mean, he is, his hips are coming up out of the bottom, his stance is fine, he's getting to depth. Just the changes we need to make are nose down, keep your back rigid, squeeze your abs as hard as you can. Some people really just take the extension thing to the high hell. And this is what this guy is doing. So Reward is basically only focused on back extension and keeping his head up. We want to do almost the opposite of that, Leon, he said, "I'm aware there's more muscle around the hips, but I struggle with hip drive in my squat and have a tendency to drive through the quads before the hips. I'm worried my hips weren't keeping up." So you probably aren't leaning over enough. You'll see that with lifters who are just very vertical. or you could just have a very long torso. If you have a very long, like otter torso and very short legs, sometimes for those people, it feels hard to get hip drive going on because they squat like this anyways. We'd have to see your squats. So feel free to send in a video.
Low bar or high bar as well.
And low bar or high bar. Yeah. So if you're doing a low bar squat and you're leaning over, you should be in a position where you feel like you can access your hips. And I was just talking about this today on a call with one of my guys. I'll switch this. Let's see how this goes. That's Mick. Where's me? Perfect. So if this is the head up here, if my hand is the head and this is the hips, okay, what we want when we see hip drive is for the hips to shift up and then the rest of it to follow. We don't want the hips to come up by themselves. So a lot of people think the hips have to shoot up tremendously for it to be hip drive. All we're looking for is for like a little bit of hips and then the rest of it comes up with it. It's a tiny leading with the hips and the rest comes in pair. So sometimes that's just kind of a misinterpretation of the model. But if you're feeling your quads, if you're like, wow, I'm getting really good mind muscle connection with my quads, I can only feel my quads during the squat, lean over more, push your butt back, and then you'll have an easier time driving your hips up. Man.
Sport. Judo.
Sport. Yeah, that's what my new gym's called, man. Sport judo. It's pretty sick.
We saw this guy's
on the hair. We did.
What, didn't we? Wait, have we got any more?
That was it on the. That was it on the user one.
Really? Have we gone through all of them? No, there's more than that in there. Have you checked
Those are the ones that there's a bunch of the older ones too. I just did the newer ones. Yeah.
Right.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I need to groom that. Fixing golfer's elbow, knee slide. We got to find something interesting here to cap this off. All of these just look like nice young men trying their best. Oh, this guy, fuzzy personality. We'll see how fuzzy personality squats. Damn.
Oh, bro. My knees hurt. No. My knees hurt just watching this.
Let's see what the comments say. All right. Miguel lifts. He said, off the top of my head, everything. Oh, dude, that's awesome. When I widen my stance, it hurts my groin. Same thing with the grip. I doubt that. I doubt that for someone that young, frankly. That would be a very fringe case. My squats on there in a recent post. Is it? What's the username on it? Are you fuzzy personality? Probably not.
No.
No. He's not farting falafel. That's for sure.
Send us a link. Chuck a link in the comments.
Mm-hmm.
We'll check it out.
Hounds of Love is a really good username. Fuck. All right, we got
27 too.
There's a lot of them.
Form checks in the mobile app. Mar-a-Lago evidence. Here we go. We see what you've been looking at, Alex.
Yeah. Hey, this is incognito though.
Yeah, it still knows. All
right, hold on. Okay. Well, let's see if my boomer body can use. All right, so Lee. Nope, that's key. Lee Wopon. Is it Lee Wop on Reddit or is the whole thing? Let's check this. All right, so that's not it. Lee Wop. Nope. Lee Wop on.
Send us a link, bro.
Send us a link, bro.
Chuck it in the comments.
I'm too stupid to figure this out. I'm sorry. Yeah. I've been hit in the head too many times. But yeah, Mick, the guy who's our coach, he was the first guy to ever go to the Olympics for both wrestling and judo. He's this old Scottish guy, and he has just this hilarious Scottish accent. And then every practice starts and ends with him telling a story about like whales or something. Not the animal. He's Scottish. Yeah, but he talks about fucking Scotland and castles and sheep and shit. Oh, that's all he talks about.
I think all Scottish people do that. That's just a Scottish person thing.
It's pretty sick. I'm actually a huge fan of it. Dude, Joko, we did your squat. We did your 205 squat. We did that. It's earlier in the show.
Yeah.
Golfer's tennis elbow. That guy, muscle strain. Bar path going forward. Here we go. We never see bench presses. Let's watch this bench.
This is one of the very few posts I actually replied to.
Were you talking shit?
I was talking shit.
Dude. This is a no bullying zone.
I wasn't talking shit. I just was commenting about the spotter. Just
Were you bullying?
I wasn't bullying. I just said this spotter sucks, man.
He does suck.
Yeah.
The spotter is kind of, he's rocking some cans, man.
Yeah. I didn't mention those.
Oh, I
Oh,
did.
no.
I'm getting a little excited.
I think so is he.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, so for some reason there's a lot of chin tucking going on in the bench. People think it really helps their arch out. I don't think it does. Especially with the recent changes to IPF rules. Sometimes people had to tuck their chin that much to accommodate their arch. I think also people mimic giant bench pressers who look like they're tucking their chin, but in reality they have a massive neck and massive pecs. So it looks like they're tucking their chin. Miguel, you do not need to be tucking your chin for this. Pick your chin up a little bit, right? Kind of think about bridging into the bench. Keep your neck really tight, and you'll have an easier time pushing everything back. But I think the grip needs to widen out here. The cue for that, or we'll see right here. Oh, excuse me, with that guy walking by, but we'll watch this one right here. So when the elbows are falling outside, so if the elbows are outside of the hand, move the hand out a little bit so it's vertical at the bottom, and you'll have a better time. But those are pretty fine. Oh man, unsolicited advice from a fellow gym bro. Yeah. The first time I squatted 405 in a public gym, someone told me to not lean over. They were like, "Why are you leaning over to start your squat? That's really dangerous." And I was like, "What do you want me to do about this, man?" Like, oh, it's so frustrating. All right, let's watch this guy. I think this one, I have high hopes for this squat to be great.
Don't build this up. He's literally built his own shed to do this in as well.
Yeah. He's posted my link. It's the first post on it too. Leon, where did you post it at? In the YouTube chat? All I can see is the YouTube chat. Or maybe he means
he might have actually put it in the comments of the video itself.
Yeah, check that.
Put it in there. Put it in the live chat. We're really going out of our way here for this guy's hair.
We are. This is how it works, dog. All right, I don't have many problems with this squat. I think this is pretty fun.
Can't see it in the comments either. He might be talking about his anyway, or whatever.
Yeah, I'm curious to see his stance. I would like to see what his toe angle is, but otherwise that squat was totally fine. Shoulder pain during the bench press. Hounds of Love. All right, we got to check out Hounds of Love. I've seen him 2 times now. I haven't watched any of his videos. We got to check the boy out. Terrible camera angle. Dude, pretty good. It also seems like Hounds of Love is like 16 years old. That is the face of a baby. So that's pretty
Or
cool.
he could be 58.
That would be even better.
It's kind of scary, the fact that it's really hard to tell people's ages these days.
Mm-hmm. That's a very Chris D'Elia answer of you. It's hard. You just can't tell.
Wasn't talking about that, Alex.
It's a very Epstein-y response. Very Harvey Weinstein, Epstein.
We are all Jews.
Yeah, a mixed Soleimanian response. Be like, it's so hard to tell these kids'
I
ages.
just can't tell anymore.
Yeah, your eyesight's getting bad,
Yeah.
So you're like, why does that kid have a backpack and those school books with him?
Yeah.
Yeah, this kid drives a big yellow car to work. You just can't see it's a bus. Yeah, I think these squats, again, are fine. Pretty fine by Hounds of Love. It's nice just to see squats that are totally fine. That really makes me happy.
Oh, can we look at that one? That deadlift.
Which one? This one?
Yeah, one more back up. Yeah, this one.
All right. Tips on deadlift programming. This is my today's shitty PR. Oh, bro, no. He's doing the humpies. Right. Oh, that's amazing. Mick, I'm going to replay this until you watch it. You got to watch it.
Oh, nice.
Nice.
Yeah, bro. Yeah.
Buddy.
Got it.
Okay, so here's the reasons why we like that. There's a lot of assholes on the internet who are like, it doesn't matter if your back is flexed or extended. It doesn't matter what your form looks like. There's nothing wrong with anything, whatever. Thanks, Dan. I appreciate it. But there's a lot of people who are technique nihilists on the internet who are like, it doesn't matter if you pull off the ground with a rounded back. This is what tends to happen when you pull off the ground with a rounded back. Your spine has to get straight at some point. So if I'm super rounded over and I'm doing powerlifting meets, for example, and I have to get my shoulders behind the bar to finish, guess what? My spine has to extend. And when you're at the top of the deadlift, what people try to do is they try to make the bar weightless for a second by kind of doing that little humping process. They'll kind of shimmy the bar up to get it up the last few inches. And then when they're doing that, they will straighten their back out. The alternate solution to this is just to have your back straight from the get-go, right? That's what we tend to prefer. And this is only 375. This guy is a big guy. 375 should not be this hard. Should not be this hard at all. Let's see what people said. Hopefully your back is too rounded. My programming advice is to do it right. That's pretty sick. The bouncing is hitching. That is again confirmed. Joka, it's the whole back. It is the whole back indeed. You're going to hurt yourself.
Snap
At this point,
City.
you're hitching. Snap City, baby. Snippity snap. I've never snapped my shit up lifting, ever. It's only been doing sports. I don't really even know that many people who truly snap their shit up while lifting. It's so rare. If you run the LP correctly. Yeah, everyone's just telling him he sucks. Man, not a good time to be that guy. Anything else you want to cover, Mick, for today?
No, I think we're good. I think old mate sent us these video to the email, so we'll check it out next week. Hair bro, we'll check it out.
Oh, here we go. Wait a second. We got a why you should never sumo deadlift.
It's not really that funny, this one.
It's not. Oh man, if it's not funny.
Is this our boy Joka?
I think this is John Carr. He has some fucking thickum thighs on you. John Carr, you gotta lose some weight, dog. Sick. His friends like, are you okay? I like how
his friends waddle over.
Yeah. So this is pretty good. The first guy just doesn't even touch him. He's just hands on the plate.
Yeah, are the plates okay?
He's like, hell, they'll figure it out. We'll figure it out. So for those of you who don't know, passing out it's called vasovagal syncope. It's really not that big of a deal. The only time anything bad happens is if, again, the lifter's head hits something, which is why you shouldn't deadlift with shit behind you, in front of a squat rack where you can fall and hit your head. It's pretty rare. I noticed it's more common on people who are out of shape. If you're not equipped to handle pretty, sudden changes in blood pressure. But it happens to people who are in shape too. It's a pretty rare event no matter what. But yeah, I mean, like in the martial arts, where you can get choked out all the time and it's really not going to impact anything. Any sort of impact to your head is way more damaging than actually just passing out for this reason or for someone strangling you. And a lot of people get freaked out when they see this kind of jolt, when you're like, whoa, when you kind of wake back up, but it's super normal. It's super normal.
It's like a Windows PC rebooting.
Dude. Oh my God. Oh, by the way, Mick, I got a brand new graphics card here, everybody. Brand new graphics card. I just went to Micro Center yesterday. I had a great time shopping around.
Is that because is that the size of the penises of the people who shop there, or?
No, I always love talking to the employees, man.
Oh.
I just go in there and shoot the shit. I'm like Trump on Epstein's Island, man. I just talk to the staff.
You're the king of the bros when you walk in there, aren't you?
I just talk to the staff. That's it. Okay. No, but talking to some guys about it's Micro Center. Have you ever been to one, Mick?
I don't even know what this is. What's Micro Center?
It is a brick and mortar PC parts store. So they only have like 7 or 8 of them, and there's really not many of them. So they're like these big cultural hubs for nerds. Nerds will go there and hang out, and then all of the guys who work there are like super nerds. They're just like the worst of the worst. So it's always a great time going into Micro Center. If anyone
What do
can
you
get
what
in
do you
there,
talk about with the bros?
talk about recent technologies. I was like really pumped about this graphics card, and then we were just talking about graphics cards for like 30 minutes. Oh man, but
Anyway,
yeah.
can you get us a sponsorship from one of these graphics cards companies?
Oh my god. Have you priced graphics cards? Nvidia just released their new line. The price of them is just going to exponentially increase. The new model,
Good
it's like
investments, is what you're saying.
at least $1,500. Like before, back in the day, you could get a good graphics card for like $200 to $400. They were like lower level components. Now with crypto, they're just extremely expensive.
Is
Yeah.
that what you're doing? You're mining Bitcoin in your spare time?
No, I'm playing video games.
You loser. Imagine playing video games, getting a good graphics card to play video games.
No, I'm playing video games. I'm hanging out with the bros. I'm lifting
Yeah.
weights. I'm doing
Nice.
curls. What more can
Nice.
you ask for, man?
The dream. You're going to have a new haircut next week as well. You
Yeah, I'm
trade
just
what
all up
form
to the
checks
side.
for hair tips.
I've legitimately considered. I was like, what if I just frost my tips? I work from home. Nobody will say anything. It'll be funny.
Turn up,
Anastasia,
yeah.
I've had a hard no from Anastasia. She said no to
Turn
that.
up to the next starting strength coaches seminar with that. See what happens.
Frosted tips.
Frosted
Yeah,
tips.
just a tank top on. Like, hey,
String
hey
up.
guys,
Dinner.
I'm moving to California.
Uh,
Man,
all
but
right.
all right, guys. See you,
Yep.
everybody.
Let's